The way that we have to do this, so the feeling is the chest is gonna go towards the ball, or feel like we're going out towards our toes.
Yep.
As we go out towards our toes, we have this super awesome thing, this fluid in between our ears called our equilibrium that helps us balance.
Yeah.
So as we start to get out closer towards the ball, for the most part, our butt will have a tendency to stay more back.
Got it.
So then we kind of get two birds with one stone here.
Got it.
So the goal was simply to set up to this inside ball with a goal and to try to hit the outside ball.
Now, GT, is this inside ball about the normal distance? That would be like a normal position?
Absolutely.
Okay. So inside ball's normal. We go outside what looks to be about a club head.
Perfect.
Right? To the outside ball. So you're going to set up to, let's just do one or two just to kind of feel that.
Yeah, so we're gonna set up here to this inside ball. You can take a couple practice swings actually, or feel like, oh man, how the heck am I gonna hit this ball out here?
Okay.
Because we don't want you falling over.
Yeah,
you could, even if you do fall over, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I'll give you one here where I fall over and kind of extra do it.
Okay.
That would be great. So going up here, a little swing, reach out to get that ball.
And the point of what you're saying here, JT, is like, tigers move, and what we want to move to start our downswing with the body is the upper body's going down and forward as the lower body's going back.
Exactly.
Hey guys, Eric here, back outside at the Bethlehem Golf Club. In today's video, we're going to talk about Tiger's downswing secret. Now, obviously, as you can see, not standing here by myself. To my left here is Mr. JT Thomas. JT, thanks for coming out, my friend.
For sure.
Some of you guys know JT. If you don't know JT, JT and I coach together at CogornoGolf.com. We do in-person golf schools together, and I actually work with JT on my own swing. So he's the guy that I trust and I go to work on my own swing. And we wanted to talk today about Tiger's downswing secret. Now, before we dive into that, like I mentioned, JT and I do coach, as well as our other coaches, at CogornoGolf.com. That's where you can send the both of us your swing. We can help build you a personal game plan and practice plan to help accomplish whatever your golfing goals are. Maybe you want to break 100, maybe you want to break 90, chip or putt better, whatever it is, we can help you do that. We have over 500 exclusive videos there, not available anywhere else. Would love to see you there. We'll put a description down in the link below. So JT, Tiger's downswing secret. And I wanted to talk with you about this today because I know you spend a lot of time looking at Tiger's swing. I think before we dive into what it is, how to do it, and most importantly, the drills that everyone can do to help them improve, why don't we just, we'll cut over to Analyzer quick. We'll show you guys a couple of clips, then we'll come back and we'll explain everything. So let's take a look here at this Tiger move. Now, I'm going to take him here. We just have an iron swing. We're going to take him up to the top of the backswing and illustrate a few pieces here. So if we get him roughly at the top of the swing, I'm just going to draw a line down the front of his body. I'm going to draw a second line down the back side of his body. And now if we look closely in transition, we're going to notice the way his body moves. And if you look, you'll see that his upper body, see the line between his lead shoulder and his pelvis, works down and forward of that front line. So that lead shoulder is worked down towards the ball and forward towards the target. And if you look closely at this backside there, and you see the butt is on the line, you'll see the pelvis and butt actually work slightly back. So that angle he has here of his body between this lead side and the lead leg is actually slightly decreasing in size in transition. Now if we look at some other visuals here JT has sent over, you can see the same sort of lines drawn here, and watch that lead side. So look at the pelvis motion here from a different angle and how that creates depth as that lead side, rib cage, shoulder, and upper body are working down and forward. And so that angle again between the lead side and lead leg decreasing in transition. We've got one more visual a little bit closer up to the same motion here. See the lines where he starts? Now watch the lines as he begins down and see the depth created by the lead side and see the lead upper body and how that works in transition down and forward. So those are the pieces really here that we're looking at. That little small piece of his transition right there. See that motion? Right there in transition. Okay, awesome. So you guys saw a little bit there about the motions that Tiger used. JT, why don't we flip-flop spots here?
Yeah, perfect.
And so let's talk in simple terms. Obviously, like we said, you watch a lot of Tiger videos.
Definitely.
I do as well. And this one thing that we want people to do in the drills we're going to show them, let's talk about what that is. And I know as we get into that, the setup and backswing positions that he does really helps out this downswing move. So maybe we'll talk about that first.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just really important that when we set up, we don't set up with too much of tilt towards the ball. So too much of our pelvis tilted over. If you can imagine a wall behind you, you wouldn't want to be touching that wall to start at your setup. You want to feel taller, basically like you're completely standing straight up. You could grab the club like this and then just bend over slightly, bend your knees, round your spine, and get the club to the ground. And that's how you would want your pelvis to kind of set up towards the ball.
Gotcha.
And then in the backswing, you really want to try and keep that orientation up until late in your backswing. You don't want to start to get into this tilt too quickly, get your trail hip too close to that wall too fast. For the most part, they have a tendency to do the opposite of Tiger's secret move, which is not what we want.
Right, gotcha.
So as we swing back, we want to feel like our pelvis stays more underneath us as we turn. Basically, it's going to feel like our pelvis is going almost towards the ball,
okay,
is the feeling, so that we have a whole lot of room to displace the pelvis backwards in transition, which is kind of the Tiger secret move that you guys saw in the video.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. And I like that just as a little bit of, it's like anything we talk about, always what you do beforehand is going to influence the movement or not.
Exactly.
And so if in that visual you see Tiger's secret is really displacing that and getting the upper body working down as the lower body works back, setting up and doing the backswing properly is going to help or hurt that.
For sure.
But let's assume that the golfer has that in and we want to start working that downswing motion. Let's explain a little bit more, just in a little brief detail, what it is, and then we'll work through 2 drills in terms of how to feel it.
Yeah, perfect. So essentially what's happening to Tiger at the top of a swing and into transition is that he is displacing his pelvis. So essentially he's moving it backwards from where it started. So this is not so much of like tilting the pelvis really towards the ground, adding in a lot of tilt. It's simply if you were to stand here and push your butt back. So it's a pelvic thrust away from the golf ball.
Got it.
We talked about that a little bit in our lesson a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Put a little club right across here and felt some space in between there. So when you create that space with your pelvis, then your upper body, for the most part, is going to be forced to work towards the ground.
Got it.
So when you put these motions together, is essentially Tiger's secret move in transition and in the downswing that helps him get into some really awesome impact positions. So for Tiger at the top of a swing, his pelvis stays more underneath him. As he starts working into transition, the pelvis really thrusts away from the ball as the chest gets closer. And doing those things also really helps you keep your balance. So those are pieces that are really important to get that Tiger's move down.
And would you say with ball strikers who maybe aren't as good as Tiger, which is everyone in the world, but maybe not as good as they want to be, they would potentially, like me, too, have the opposite motion?
Exactly.
Right? So what would the error look like?
Yeah, so the error would look like your pelvis would actually thrust towards the ball and your chest would get away from the ball.
Right.
And those things actually are directly correlated to that loss of lag that you see a lot too. If my chest is farther away from the ball, the only way that I can get this club to the ground is then to unhinge my wrist, right?
Yeah.
So then we get so many magic things from this Tiger secret move.
Yeah, flip motions, lots of dynamic loft, ball going high and short, club face contact issues.
Absolutely.
And so if that's the move that we want to train in, and I think that should be fairly clear to see when you look at Tiger's swing, look at some of the swings we're going to show you, the next key movement is, okay, JT, that's cool, I get it, but now how do I actually train it? And we have 2 different drills to do this. Let's look at the first drill. We'll show you guys how to do that, then we'll do the second one. All right, JT, so let's talk me through the first drill of how to train this Tiger motion to start the downswing.
Yeah, absolutely. So you would start off with these, the easy part of this drill is to put the balls, let's say, 2 or 3 inches apart.
Okay, so
this
we have
is
2 golf balls in front of us.
2 golf balls in front of us, 2 or 3 inches apart. You're going to start at the ball closest to you.
Okay.
With the goal to actually hit the ball farther away from you.
Okay, okay.
Now, the only way we can really do this is to get our chest more forward towards the ball.
Okay.
Even if you had super long arms, it'd be really tough. I mean, you hit the ball poorly. We could hit that ball, we wouldn't hit it very well.
Right.
Okay. So the way that we have to do this, so the feeling is the chest is going to go towards the ball, or feel like we're going out towards our toes.
Yep.
As we go out towards our toes, we have this super awesome thing, this fluid in between our ears called our equilibrium that helps us balance.
Yes.
So as we start to get out closer towards the ball, for the most part, our butt will have a tendency to stay more back.
Got it.
So then we kind of get 2 birds with 1 stone here.
Got it.
So the goal was simply to set up with set up to this inside ball with a goal and to try to hit the outside ball.
Now, GT, is this inside ball about the normal distance? That would be like a normal position?
Absolutely.
Okay. So inside ball is normal. We go outside what looks to be about a club head.
Perfect.
Right? To the outside ball. So you're going to set up to, let's just do one or two just to kind of feel that.
Yeah, so we're gonna set up here to this inside ball. You can take a couple practice swings actually, if you're like, oh man, how the heck am I gonna hit this ball out here?
Okay.
Because we don't want you falling over.
Yeah,
you could, even if you do fall over, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I'll give you one here where I fall over and kind of extra do it.
Okay.
That would be great. So going up here, a little swing, reach out to get that ball.
And the point of what you're saying here, JT, is like, Tigers move, and what we want to move to start our downswing with the body is the upper body's going down and forward as the lower body's going back.
Exactly.
So this first drill is really to feel the upper body part.
Yes.
And influence, hey, if my upper body's going down and forward like this, either my lower body's going to go back by itself, or I better do something to help it go back, right? One of the two?
Yeah, one of the two. Yeah, you got to do something. Push your weight in your heels. Something's going to happen.
Yep.
Your brain is going to try and protect itself. So as long as you throw yourself enough out that way, don't be shy or bashful about it. You want to do it pretty easy as I hit that last one, just to get your brain comfortable with going that way. Because again, most golfers, right, almost always back up, are afraid to move towards the ground. So when we do this, the smaller one, we kind of want to really be going towards it. Now this would be the kind of the beginner drill. We can move it a little farther. So let's say, a club length or a club face length and a half would be even more so.
Okay, got it.
To really feel this drill. So, okay, now, wow, I really got to fall out that way.
Yeah,
this.
Gotcha.
So that would be like another kind of
added progression or something.
Harder version of the drill.
I love that, and I love that feeling the upper body part. Now, let's say someone does that and they do fall over and they need to feel more the lower body part. Thankfully, we have a good drill for that. We'll show you guys next. Okay, JT, so second drill. First one was really simple. 2 golf balls everyone has. This one looks a little bit more complicated, but also a chair that everyone has, right?
Absolutely. You can do
so
it at home.
Show me how we would do the second part for the hip motion.
Absolutely. Motion. So this really gives us a representation of the hips or the pelvis. The other one gave us a representation of the chest. So in actuality, putting them both together is the secret, but we want to kind of bring them apart to learn how to do them each.
Makes sense.
So for this chair drill, you want to put each foot on the outside legs of the chair.
Got it.
So that your pelvis can your thighs should be pretty much up against the chair, maybe an inch or so away.
Okay.
And you can do this with a club too. It's actually really effective to do it with a club. You can choke down up to near the steel when you do this.
And this is like mid-thigh
height. Okay. Yeah, mid-thigh height. And as you swing back, we talked a little bit about the backswing, right? So we don't want to have all that gap in between the chair to start.
Right, okay.
We kind of want to keep this similar on the backswing. If anything, our left leg kind of goes into it on the backswing. So as we swing back here, left leg or lead leg going into the chair. Now on the downswing, the goal is to make as much space in between the chair and your belt as you can.
Okay.
So you're going to push your belt back as far as you can here. You should feel some tightness a little bit in your hamstrings if you're doing it correctly.
Gotcha.
We don't want the knees to overflex as we do this either. That'll kind of push us towards it. So the knees are going to feel like they're less flexed almost as the butt goes more back or belt goes more back away from the chair.
Got it.
The front part of this chair is extremely helpful too to help you understand where this club should be. So this will help you give you that representation we did of the first drill.
Yes.
Is when you get the pelvis more away from the chair, your upper body has to go in front to where this club now is on top of this chair.
Dude, love that.
So if you're falling away, obviously your pelvis is going to go towards the chair, but also your hands are going to be in the midline of this chair.
Got it.
No good.
Got it.
So this kind of gives us both here, but the main goal is the pelvis.
And so if you take your setup one more time, JT, just for a second. So when you set up there, we're talking the chair is maybe an inch max, right, away from your legs to start. And then when you go up to the top, probably our left leg's coming in against the chair, right?
Yes.
And then maximum space created. Like you said, I love that belt buckle, left side of the hip, etc., back away in the early transition phase.
Absolutely.
Now, as someone does this, because I can hear this as a response, well, when I do that, the club comes really over the top.
For sure.
Right? I think another thing to note is that the golfer this is going to really help, who normally has too much of this, probably has the club going too far behind him as is, too shallow. And so obviously with this, the club still needs to be in an appropriate spot. That's a separate video, but really as we're highlighting here those body motions.
For sure.
And so I love those two. I think those two are really simple and for someone to put into their swing, especially if you're someone who's struggled with early extension.
Absolutely.
And you've struggled for years and years and years and years. You need drills like this to give you feedback. And then to take it a step farther, you need to exaggerate way more than you think is appropriate. So like when JT got his hip going back, that might not look crazy on video, maybe it does, but I promise for you in the beginning, that will feel unbelievable, and it needs to feel unbelievable to change the motion. So
absolutely.
I think that's beautiful. That's the Tiger move we wanted to show you guys. Hope you guys liked this. If you have any questions, as always, leave a comment down below. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you did like the video, do us a favor, click that like button down below. Click the notification bell. Also, please subscribe. If you would like some coaching, if you would like me to look at your swing, help build you a personal plan, go ahead and click the Cogorno Golf logo on the screen. We'll take you right there. We'll also include 2 other cards if you'd like to learn more about today's topic.